By the way, it's 5 p.m. It's already starting to get dark. I hate this time change. It's been a while since you guys have seen the bog plants, and for good reason, because these plants are now dormant, which absolutely sucks. I hate the winter. I do. I hate the cold. I hate snow. It looks pretty, but sucks to drive in. Motherfucker, I do this shit just so I can get fucking milk. I'm not a kid anymore. When it snows, I don't stay home. I still gotta go to work. And whenever your job is outdoors, it sucks really, really, really bad. But worse, these plants look like shit, like absolute garbage. It's not even December yet, and the plants are already starting to get like these brown splotches on the pictures. Even leucophilas, which are known to look amazing during the winter. Granted, they look better than others, but they still just starting to wilt on me. But this is a video I want to show you guys of what I do with these plants during the winter, because a lot of people don't really know what they're doing. I'm not judging, I'm not. Believe me, been there, done that. When I first got into these plants, I had no idea what I was supposed to do during the winter. And then I realized it's not that deep. I literally just leave my plants outside during the winter. Very rarely do I provide any kind of protection. They just raw dog it. And as you can see, they come back fine. But I will say, I have definitely had some close calls with these guys. Because yes, the cold can totally kill them or severely damage them, and they can set them back, which is exactly what happened to my Sarracenia minors. They do not like being too cold. So the temperature tolerances for these plants, anything above 20 degrees Fahrenheit, or for these Celsius freaks, about -6 or 7. I could already read in my comment section, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. People in the comments, what does 6, 7 even mean? Look, I'm old and crippled, okay? I don't know. But in Fahrenheit, once you start getting into the teens, that's when I start to worry a little bit. I would provide a little bit of protection, usually just a frost protection cover or a tarp. That would be perfectly fine for them. I also protect them during very, very heavy rains. It rains more often during the winter for me. And because the sun's not always shining down and it's colder, it takes a lot longer for the water to evaporate out. So the plants are way more prone to rot, which really sucks. I actually had a lot of issues with rot last year. It's because I was careless, I'm not gonna lie. But these plants can definitely handle really, really low temperatures for a short period of time, because I've actually had moments where we've gotten into the single digits and my frost protection covers actually blew away over them. They're fully exposed to it. Keep in mind, the wind chills made it -23 degrees Fahrenheit. That is extremely low, and those days were so cold. In fact, that very day, it was so cold that my truck, yes, I had a truck, was frozen shut, and I broke my passenger door handle. Doors are frozen shut, so I tried the other doors. That just happened. No! That sucked. I was so upset. I sold a truck a couple years ago, and I would bet money that the handle's still broken to this day. But the best thing you can really do for these plants during the winter is provide some kind of cold frame, which luckily I'm currently staying at a relative's house. We have a greenhouse. It's not heated or cold or anything like that. We kept our tomatoes in here, just give them an extra few weeks, and as you can see, they are definitely dead. So once I remove these guys, I'm actually gonna be putting these plants in here, just in case we actually get a really, really harsh freeze, which is pretty much guaranteed to happen at this point. These plants can actually be protected. Not to mention, once spring comes in, the weather's so unpredictable. I live in a state where you cannot predict the weather tomorrow, okay? There will be days where it's blistering cold, and then the next day it's 60 and raining, and then the next day is snowing, and then the next day is 65 and sunny. That literally happened a couple weeks ago. That's kind of why these plants look like junk right now. We had our first snow, and yes, the plants can totally handle snow. They can freeze. These plants have been frozen in solid blocks of ice so many times, especially plants that I've had for years and years and years, and they've always came back just fine. Just to kind of prove a point, you can actually see. Oh, son of a... Oh, God, it hurts. Absolutely frozen solid. Yeah. There are some Sarracenia species that I would be a little bit more wary on. Mainly species like Sarracenia minor, Sarracenia psittacina, a lot of the later season plants like Leucophila, Alata, Rubra. Early season Sarracenia, they never cared. They don't. Purpurea is also a pretty hardy species as well. It just depends on which Purpurea you get though. Like Purpurea venosa, I would treat it like any other Sarracenia. But if you get more like the northeastern varieties, those things right here can survive anything. But yeah, during the winter, it really just depends on where you live. Like I said, for the most part, I literally just leave these guys outside. This is the first time I'm genuinely giving these plants protection during the winter, because this greenhouse is just here. Like, I might as well use it. Not to mention, once it starts warming up, it's gonna be a little bit warmer in here, and the plants should come out of dormancy a little bit earlier and grow a little bit quicker. Again, just to avoid the horrific weather of spring. I've heard of people putting these plants in a refrigerator, which I don't know anything about. I've never done it before. My collection is a little bit too big to do that. I mean, if you live in a climate that's just super, super, super cold, your best bet is probably a garage, a storage shed, a cold frame, frame. I've seen people buy the cheaper frames, and that should work just fine. You just gotta be careful with the watering. Make sure your plants are at least in a decent sized pot. It helps protect the roots a lot better. I would not go with pots smaller than this. This is like a 2.7-inch pot. That's one reason why I overpot some of my plants. But if you have a cold frame like this, it's not really gonna matter. But that's about it. It's a very simple video of me just explaining what I do with my plants during the winter. But yeah, that's about it. See y'all.